Alright guys, so this is for Bailey, so hopefully you get a chance to watch this before I get back. So this is going to be writing equations and solving them with variables on both sides. So I'm going to do a few examples with you, and you can do the other two. So number one, it says Graham is hiking at an altitude of 14,040 feet and is descending 50 feet each minute. So know that each is a multiplication word. So that's going to be the number that has the variable with it. So we're going to make each minute be x. So this is going to end up being 14,040. He's descending. That means subtracting. So we're going to minus 50 per minute. Okay, so that would be the mathematical equivalent of that sentence. And then it says Max is hiking at an altitude of 12,000 feet and is ascending 12,500 feet and ascending, meaning adding 20 feet per minute. How many minutes will it take for Graham and Max to meet at the same altitude? So if they meet, that means they're equal, right? So this would be your equation that you make. So when you're solving equations with variables on both sides, well, first of all, you always want to simplify both sides first. So this is completely simplified. I don't have any combining like terms to do or any distribution, same thing here. But like I said, these two need to come together. So either I need to move the 20x over here, or I need to move the negative 50x over here. So whenever we move across the equal sign, you always have to do inverse operations. Okay, so let me focus this. So you just choose which one you want to move. I'm going to move the 20. So I'm going to subtract 20x from both sides. That's going to give me 12,500 equal to 14,040 minus 70x. And then I just solve it like a two-step equation. So if I want to get x by itself, I got to get rid of this 1440 and the 70. This is my multiplying dividing number, that'll be last. This is my adding subtracting number, that's going to go first. So this is a positive 1440, so the opposite of that would be to subtract 1440. So we're subtracting 1440 from both sides. You get negative 70x equal to, let's see here, so that would be 40 and 10, 75, so 3 minus 2 is 1, and that would be it. So 1,000, negative 1,540, divide by negative 70, and you're going to get x equal to, let's see, so let's put that in the calculator. So 1540 divided by 70, that's going to equal 22. So the equation was 14,040 minus 50x equals 12,500 plus 20x, and my solution was x equals 20 or at 20 minutes. At what altitude will Graham and Max meet? Okay, so if we want to find what altitude it is, that's going to be equal to 14,040 minus 50 times 20, right? What, 20 minutes descending, each minute you're descending 50 feet, you multiply that times 20, subtract it from 1440, and you're going to get your altitude. Basically, you're finding your y. So I'm going to plug that in. I'm going to do 14,040, and you could have done the other one too. It should work for both. Minus 50 times 20. So what would that be? So that would be 0, 0, 10. So 1,000. So 14,040 minus 1,000 is going to give me 13,040. Okay, so there's that one. And then Nick and Adam work out together. Nick weighs 160 pounds and is gaining about 3 pounds per week. So 160 he's gaining, so plus 3 per week. Okay, so per, another multiplication word, so our weeks are going to be the x. Adam weighs 195 and he's losing, so subtracting 2 pounds per week. Write an equation that can be used to find the number of weeks that it will take them to weigh the same amount, so when they're equal. We got to combine the x's. Both sides are completely simplified, so now we're just combining the x's. I'm going to add 2x to both sides. To combine that, I'll get 195 equals 160 plus 5x. I got to get x by itself, so now I'm going to get rid of the adding subtracting number first by using inverse operations, just like I did with combining the x's. 5x will equal 35. Divide by 5 on both sides. X is going to be equal to 7. So my equation was 160 plus 3x equals 195 minus 2x. And my solution was x equals 7, or at 7 weeks. How much will they weigh? Well, we can just plug it into one of these, right? So 160 plus 3 times 7. 3 times 7 is 21, so that's going to be 181 pounds. Okay, so I'm going to let you try to do those last two on that page. And we're going to go to our notes on inequalities. So it says an inequality is the relation between two expressions that are not equal to one another. So this would be your less than symbol. This would be your less than or equal to symbol. This should be review. This is your more than symbol. And this is going to be your more than or equal to symbol. Okay. It says use a variable and an inequality symbol to represent each of the following descriptions. Carl has fewer than 7 hats in his closet. Okay, so his hats are we're gonna say H, right? So his hats are less than 7. Lonnie grew at least 1 2/3 inches last year. Okay, so he grew. So his growth, G, in inches was at least, so it was greater than or equal to 1 inch and 2/3. Okay, so G equals growth. H equals hats. Jamar can fit no more than 8 people in his car. So, okay, so people can fit in the car. So people have to be no more than, so less than or equal to 8. Adrian wants to spend a maximum of $250 at the grocery store. So a maximum would be less than or equal to $250. So we're going to put S for spend. P equals people over here. Okay, Theo's suitcase weighs more than 56.75 pounds. W equals weight. So the weight of the suitcase is more than 56.75 pounds. Patricia drank no less than, so D for drink. So she drank more, if no less than would be more than or equal to 22 ounces of water before lunch. Ren and Abby are reading the same book for their English class. Ren is on page 100 of the book, and she reads 1/4 of a page each minute. So let's see, 100, and she reads 1/4 per minute. Abby is on page 88. and she reads half a page per minute. How many minutes will it take for Abby to have read at least? Okay, so this one was Ren. This one was Abby. So it says, how many minutes will it take for Abby to have read at least? So it means, so at least means more than or equal to. So she has to be more than or equal to the number of pages that Ren has read in the book. Okay, so yeah, so if she's has to be at least as much as her, she has to be more than or equal to. So that makes sense. Okay, so we're gonna write this: 100 plus 1/4 x is less than or equal to 88 plus 1/2 x. And we're gonna solve this just like we would any other equation, unless we divide or multiply by a negative number, and that's not the case here. Then we would have to flip the symbol, but we're not going to do that here. So, got to combine my x's. Both of these are completely simplified, no distribution, no combining like terms, so we can go ahead and start by combining our x's. I'm going to subtract 1/4 x from both sides. Oops, sorry, 1/4. I'm going to rewrite this. 100 is less than or equal to 88. 1/2 minus 1/4 is another 1/4. But you can put that in your calculator if you want to, in parentheses. We're going to solve for x here, so that means that we need to get rid of the 88 and the 1/4. We start by doing the adding subtracting number, which is always the number that's not next to the variable. So the opposite of adding, or this is a positive number, so that's adding. So the opposite of adding would be subtracting. So I'm subtracting this. I'm going to get 1/4 x is greater than or equal to, this will be 10, so this will be 2, this will be 9, this will be 1, and this will be 0. So 12 is less than or equal to 1/4 x. Divide by 1/4. You can put that in your calculator, or you can just think of it as when you divide by a fraction, you're multiplying by the reciprocal. So right, keep, change, flip. So this would be really 12 times 4. So 12 times 4 would be 48. So x is equal to 48. Oh, sorry, not equal to, sorry, that's my bad. It is x is greater than or equal to 48. Okay, so we're going to put here 48 x is greater than or equal to 48. Okay, you can see all that. Alright, and then let's go to the next page. Okay, number 8 says to have a birthday party at an ice skating rink. Lizzie would pay 40 plus 18.25 per person. Per is a multiplication word. You know that's going to be next to the variable. So it's going to be 40 plus 18.25x. To have a party at a trampoline park, she would pay 124 plus 7.75 per person. Again, per is a multiplication word, so it's going to be 7.75x. How many people would Lizzie need to have at her party in order for the cost of the party at the ice skating rink to be more than, okay, so the ice skating rink was the first one, so this one's the ice. This is a trampoline. So the ice skating ring to be more than a party at the trampoline. Okay, so that's our equation. Oh, sorry, not equation, inequality. Sorry. It's hard to transition from saying equals to inequality. Okay, so from here we're going to solve to get our solution. Both of these are completely simplified, so I'm just going to go ahead and combine my x's. I'm going to subtract 7.75x. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get, oh goodness. Okay, so this would be, let me put some calculator, just to be sure. This would be 18.25 minus 7.75. So that's going to be 10.5. And this will be 40 plus 10.5x. And we got the 124 still over here. From there, you're going to solve it just like you would a normal two-step equation. You're going to get x by itself, so we got to get rid of the adding subtracting number first. We're going to subtract 40 from both sides. We're going to have to rewrite this over here. So when I do that, I'm going to get 10.5x is greater than 124 minus 40, so that's going to be 4, and 12 minus 4 is 8. Okay, so that'll be 84. So then you're going to divide by 10.5. X is equal to, let's see, let's put that in the calculator. 84 divided by 10.5. That's going to give me 8. So x equals 8, or, oh, sorry, not equals, goodness. Okay, so when x is greater than 8, or more than 8 people at the party. Okay, so then we got this one. Let's read that real quick. It says, in Neal City, the temperature is 72.6 degrees and is rising at a rate of 1.3 degrees each hour. H is a multiplication. We'll say H is going to be our variable. In Shepherd City, the temperature is 80.4 and is dropping, so minus 1.82 degrees each hour. In how many hours will the temperature in Neal City be no less than, okay, wait, so Neal City was the first one. Neal. And the other one was, who's? Shepherds. So we want the temperature in Neal City to be no less than, so greater than or equal to the temperature in Shepherd City. So let's go ahead and combine our H's. I'm going to subtract 1.3 from both sides. 1.3H actually, so this would be 72.6 greater than or equal to 80.4, and this is going to be negative 2, no, 2, then see, negative minus 3.12. Okay, it's just to check, so it's 2, that would be 11, okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I want to get, this is H. I get H by itself, so that means that I got to move this 80 over. So I'm going to subtract 80.4 from both sides. And I'm going to rewrite this in this small tiny space right here. So let's see, so 80, the difference between 80 and 72.6. Let's see that. So I'm going to put that on my calculator real quick. So 72.6 minus 80.4. 97.8. Greater than or equal to negative 3.12H. Sorry, it's so tiny. So then from there, I'm going to divide by negative 3.12. And you're going to get H is less than or equal to this. So I'm going to do 7.8 divided by 3.12, and I get 2.5. So my inequality was 72.6 plus 1.38 greater than or equal to 80.4 minus 1.82h. And so my solution is h is less than or equal to 2.5, or when less than 2.5 hours, or equal to or less than 2.5 hours. Okay. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So the next one says, choose the inequality that could be used to solve the problem below. Sarah plans to sell decorative signs at an upcoming craft market. It cost her $3.50 to make each sign, and she paid a one-time fee of $185 to rent a booth at the market. Let's see. Cost her $3.50 to make each sign, so each of the multiplication words, so $3.50 to make each sign. She paid a one-time fee of $185. If Sarah sells each sign for $15.75, how many signs will she need to sell in order for her expenses to be no more than, so this is my expenses, this is her, how much she makes, for her expenses to be no more than, so less than or equal to her earnings. So let's see, which one does that match? 3.5x plus 185 is going to be less than or equal to 15.75x. So it would be this one. Okay. 11 says in A through C, determine if the description matches the inequality below. If not, explain what should be corrected. Let's see, 8 more than the quotient of 2 1/3. 8 more than the quotient of 2 1/3, and a number is greater than or equal to the quotient of 1 1/6, and the same number increased by 1. This shouldn't be quotient. This should be product. So if this was corrected, this would be correct. The product of 2 1/3 and a number. The product of 1 1/6 and the same number. 2 1/3 times a number plus 8 is at most. So at most would be less than or equal to. So this would be incorrect. This should be at least 1 more than 1 1/6 times the same number. 8 more than the product of 2 1/3, and a number is no less than. So if it's no less than, it would be greater than or equal to 1 more than the product of 1 1/6 and the same number. So this would be correct. Okay, so let's see if there's anything else. Okay, so you're just going to take all of these word problems and you are going to match them up with their partners, right? So I think you've had enough examples, so you should probably be able to do this. I would say you could work with some, but you're the only one that's doing this. So just do your best, and when I get back, we can kind of go over things that you didn't understand. All right, thank you so much. Have a good day.